Welcome back to the Football Zone. Today is the first episode of Club Revamp, which is a new series that we've came up with.
Yeah, Club Revamp, we're going to talk about clubs past, present and future and what we think they should do or what they are currently doing to improve the entirety of the club and not just the team.
The team itself. So, this week, as they're a hot topic of teams that need a revamp, well, not just a hot topic this week, the past few years, realistically, is Manchester United. We talked a lot about them, quite a lot in our Premier League predictions video, so we thought it'd be a good idea to start off with Manchester United as the first club to do as Club Revamp, and because they are hot news in terms of
everything in general with the club, the Glazers, new manager, players coming in, players leaving, things like that. So
let's start off with the past. So
yeah,
from where they were like 20 years ago,
Sir Alex Ferguson.
We'll start off with where they were successful in their history. So it was trophies won under Ferguson. So Ferguson was a very, very successful manager, and pretty much owned the club.
He completed football, really.
Yeah. So Ferguson was appointed of Manchester United in November of 1986. During his 26-year tenure at Manchester United, he won 38 trophies. So that was including 13 Premier League titles, 5 FA Cups, 2 UEFA Champions League titles, 1 FIFA Club World Cup, 1 UEFA Super Cup, 4 English Cups, or English League Cups, which is like the Carabao Cup.
The Carabao Cup these days.
1 Intercontinental Cup, 10 Community Shields, and 1 Europa Pokal de Pokalsieger, which is now an abandoned competition, and they won that. I believe it was in like 1998. I think it was.
So realistically, he was one of, if not the best manager to ever grace the Premier League.
Yeah, he won it all with United.
English football, anyway.
Yeah, he won it all with United. He gained the respect of every single staff member, every single player.
Yeah.
Every person to do with Manchester United, whether it be supporter or within the actual team itself, respected Sir Alex Ferguson because of how hard he worked as well. Yeah. So he was just a complete manager.
And he left at the end of the 2012-13 season.
Yeah. So, shall we do trophies since Sir Alex Ferguson has left?
Trophies since Sir Alex Ferguson left. So since 2013 till current date.
Yeah, it is 1 FA Cup, 1 Europa League, and 1 League Cup. So they've won a total of 3 trophies. I'd say one of them realistically is kind of the major trophy.
Europa League.
Yeah, that's the most major.
I mean, the FA Cup, it's the most coveted and oldest cup competition in the
England.
world. In the world football. So I think that's got to go as one.
Domestic
cup. Yeah. So they've won 3 trophies in the past 9 years.
Yeah, and
since
so the highest league finish since Sir Alex Ferguson was second under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Jose Mourinho in 2020 and 2021. Those were the 2020-21 season and the 17-18 season respectively. And their lowest finish since Ferguson left is 7th. Which was the season after Ferguson left in the 13-14 season.
Which, when Mourinho said in his interview one of his greatest, if not his greatest achievement in football, and you think about how much he's won, is finishing second in the Premier League with that Manchester United team.
So does that mean...
It says a lot, doesn't it?
Does that mean Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's up there with Jose Mourinho?
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. Not one bit.
So, to finish off the sort of history of Manchester United, or past of Manchester United...
With Alex Ferguson.
Is how much they spent under Ferguson.
Now, take into consideration the time that we were in.
So, he joined in 1986.
Yeah.
So, realistically, the money back then in football isn't the same as it's now.
Yeah,
nowhere
it's a lot different. It's a lot different, especially when you got Anthony Gordon going for £60 million these days.
Exactly.
It's a lot different.
Under his 26-year tenure, I'll turn notifications off. Sir Alex Ferguson spent a total of £392.44 million. Over 26 years, realistically, that's incredible for what he won. The I don't know how to say
Well,
it.
that's not taking into account also the players that he sold in that time. That's just how much money he spent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Ferguson had a thing that he liked to do every 3 to 4 years, because every season, near enough, they won the Premier League or won the Champions League or something like that, that the hunger and the desire from his team at that time would just kind of fade away. And if he felt anything like that with any of his players, they were gone and sold. He would keep a spine of his team of, you know, your Van der Sar, Vidic and Ferdinand, your Scholes and your Rooney, keep a core of the team, and then everyone else in and around that would change every 3 to 4 years, because that hunger and desire disappears. He wants new players to come in who want to win trophies.
100%.
So him selling players and things like that would take that massively into account.
So realistically, the return, what they got on their £392 million investment, was 38 trophies, which is massive.
Yeah. Compared to post Ferguson era.
And you have the number.
2013.
You have the number.
So starting in 13-14 season up until current date, obviously starting with Moyes, going all the way up until now, Ten Hag, Man United have spent £1.2 billion. That's pound, that's not even euro.
That's a ridiculous amount of money.
£1.2 billion on transfers in. That's not taking into account any players. Well, we've got the players' sales figure, but that's not taking into account the wages of each players and things like that.
Since 20,
it's just the transfers coming in.
Yeah.
£1.2 billion since 2013.
100%.
So they've won 3 trophies in 9 years and spent £1.2 billion.
So I'm gonna do
transfer fees.
I'm gonna do a little bit of a division here. Whilst you keep on talking.
Yeah.
So if you want to go on to the actual net spend, technically.
So technically, they have sold £400 million worth of players since 2013 as well. So net spend of negative £800 million on just transfer fees alone. I'd say not taking into account extortionate figures. So
for the price of one trophy since 2013 was £400 million per trophy. Bearing in mind, Alex Ferguson won 38 trophies for the price of £392 million. So I'm actually going to do the quick math of how much Ferguson by 38. So he spent £10 million per trophy. So there is
I say, but
a negative 400% difference.
We've got a list of the players that they bought. Some of them are absolute stinkers and don't know why you buy them, but other ones that are actually top level, if not world class players, before they bought them.
Yeah.
So Warren's paying the money for them, but when they come into the club, something massively goes wrong and everything changes, and all of a sudden they ship them out within 1-2 seasons.
Exactly.
It's
which
crazy.
I don't really understand, because I think there was a one that we were looking at when we were researching this is Di Maria.
Di Maria signed in 2014 for £59.7 million, and they sold him a season later.
But realistically, Di Maria was a quality player.
Oh, he's world class.
He is a quality player. He was unbelievable at Real Madrid.
Been world class when he was at PSG as well.
Yeah.
After he left Man U.
There's got to be something strange going on in the atmosphere at the training ground, or just there's got to be something within the team that just doesn't quite click well with these type of players. Like Mkhitaryan, he was a great player at Arsenal.
He was a
great player at Arsenal.
At Dortmund.
Dortmund, sorry. And Alexis Sanchez, sorry, was a great player at Arsenal.
And that happened in a swap deal.
I don't even know what happened to him at Manchester United in terms of like the drop off. Alexis Sanchez was the best, if not one of the best players in the Premier League at the time, up there with Hazard and De Bruyne. Yeah. Like he was really competing at a high level at Arsenal.
I think it was all to do with his initiation video of him playing a piano. I think it was downhill from that point. But I mean, they signed Mkhitaryan in 2016 for 30 million from Dortmund. A season later, they swapped him for Sanchez with Arsenal.
Yeah, which is crazy. Which is crazy. You're not really giving these players time to gel
At all. No. I mean, the case
realistically,
of,
I think Angel Di Maria wanted to leave because he wasn't happy there, as well as the performances dwindling towards the end of the season.
Just looking at it, one transfer window that turned out to be absolutely shocking. 2015-16, they signed Martial for £36 million, signed Depay for 25 million, Schneiderlin for 24 million, Matteo Darmian for 12.7 million, and Bastian Schweinsteiger for 6.5 million. If
you look at that on the surface, and in 2015, and you said that Manchester United brought in these players, that is a great transfer window.
I think they were very happy with that because Schneiderlin at Everton was
a quality player.
Was it Southampton to Man U?
And then
Man U to Everton?
Southampton, yeah.
At Southampton, he was a quality player. Bastian Schweinsteiger coming in for the experience. Depay was a much coveted player coming in from PSV.
Yeah.
And Martial, I mean, it goes without saying they've got a Ballon d'Or clause in his contract.
He was he was on the surface. It's a great window, but we know exactly what happened.
If you look at it a few years afterwards, you're like, wasn't such a great window after all.
Exactly. So let's now go on to the actual club itself.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the stadium. So, in terms of renovations, Old Trafford's most recent expansion/renovation took place in May 2006, which saw an increase of around about 8,000 seats, with the addition of second tiers to both the north west and the northeast quadrants of the ground.
So what we're trying to say is they have not renovated their stadium except a few licks of paint for 20 years.
Yeah, so they
haven't done any work on the ground floor.
Exactly. So, and when they did do a major change, it wasn't actually increasing the quality of other areas, it was just increasing the capacity.
The capacity, yeah.
And the last renovation at Carrington, which is their training ground, was in 2013. There was no specific amount of how much was spent, but it was spent on renovating a medical centre and some parts of the training ground in terms of pitches, upgrading it to like 4G in places and stuff like that.
When did you say it was 2006 it did the last
2006 last
revamp
stadium
of the stadium? So
in 2013.
So the Glazers started taking majority hold of the club in 2005.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that was one of their first big things. But something that they did do from 2005 till 2010 was every year they were amping up consistently the prices of tickets.
Yeah.
So they've added more seats to that stadium at the same time of amping up ticket prices as well.
Of course.
So, I mean, they stopped doing it in 2010 after fans' protests and things like that of how expensive they were.
The yellow and green scarves. That's why I'm wearing the yellow and green kit Brazil. Because
the yellow top is for Thursday night six-a-side football.
Yeah, it's a Malachi kit. Wednesday night, not Thursday night.
Wednesday night.
Come on.
Thursday night.
Come on, man.
My bad.
Come on, man. Anyway, so in terms of renovations, we're going to do a few comparisons of what we think they should. Well, let's do a few comparisons of training grounds in England.
Yeah.
So the latest updates on Leicester City's new training ground near Seagrave. The Fox's new training facility is estimated £100 million development on the site, which was a former golf park, Park Hill golf course off the A46. So £100 million is all it takes to make.
That is a state-of-the-art training ground. That is le creme de la creme, top notch.
Exactly. You think in the Man U are now looking to spend, what was it, 80 million on Anthony?
Ajax want £85 million, €100 million for Anthony.
And they could spend £100 million on developing a stadium. I mean, not even a stadium,
a training ground. Training facility. Because if they want to start competing, it doesn't matter about the squad and the manager and things like that. the facilities, the training
They've got to be
ground,
top
the
quality.
stadium have to start competing with everyone else.
The thing is, in around about like 2010, 11, 12, 13, that training facility would have been top notch compared to the rest of the country. But now it's outdated because
20
they've
years
just sat
outdated.
stagnant. They've just sat so stagnant. Let's go to another one, Liverpool. So there was no further space to expand at Melwood. So in 2017, Liverpool announced that the first team operations would be permanently relocated to Kirby site. And that is a £50 million building.
And that
which
is also state of the art.
That's a great place.
But at the end of the day, Man United share a city with Manchester City. And what's theirs like?
So the area, this isn't even the training ground, it's just called the area because it's that big.
Yeah.
Which costs approximately 200 million to build. Is home to City's women's team and academy team. Well, actually, women's teams and academy teams. So multiple teams share this area. And doubles as the first team training facility. However, just like on the pitch, off it, the club's hierarchy is always to look to improve and regenerate the east of Manchester for the local people. So not only are they using that area for the team, they're also trying to create a nice area for the people that actually live there.
So when having the Etihad, instead of just building the stadium, they built a complex.
Exactly, in which is the vision that is they wanted
had coming in.
Exactly, they came in with something that they wanted to be better than Man U. They wanted to be the best in England. They wanted to be the best in the world.
Yeah.
So, and they probably are those three things.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this is their old stadium name, Main Road. Switching from that to then obviously massive investment coming in and then to making this whole complex, it's completely changed, and we'll probably just do a separate video just talking about Man City and the changes in the development of their club, because it's absolutely outstanding where they've come from. Obviously the help of a lot of money from
the
UAE, but at the end of the day, the world revolves around money. Everyone needs
it. And the Americans got the money. All the money's dirty.
If you want to compete, you have to spend the money, and you have to do it at the end of the day. And Man City's done that really well, and Manchester United have not done that well at all.
So now onto the stadium, Old Trafford. Again, we were speaking about before. It is very outdated.
Yeah.
And a comparison to what they need to do.
Yeah.
Is probably the best stadium in the world right now until Real Madrid's is fully open.
I mean, a lot of teams are doing redevelopments on stadiums. Obviously you've got Barcelona have got their project on their stadium.
Yeah.
Real Madrid's got a project on theirs. Everton are building a new stadium down on the docks.
Yeah.
In Merseyside.
Which also looks like a great stadium.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal. And that pains us to say that it looks very nice. So a lot of teams are looking at development, and there's nothing from Man U's side on developing anything. So
the stadium for Spurs cost £1 billion, but it's a state.
Yeah,
it's £1 billion debt on a state.
Yeah. So
the debt isn't as financially critical. Or critically,
the thing with Spurs is
it's not crippling on Spurs. You don't have to pay it off as fast.
The reason why they've spent that much money on the stadium is because they can make that much money off the stadium.
100%.
Because the horse of the NFL there, they literally, if you haven't watched it, Richard Hammond's, what is it called?
Big.
Richard Hammond's Big.
I think it's called Big or something like that. It's on Amazon.
It's a full episode of Richard Hammond talking about
incredible
Spurs' new stadium and how they literally change the pitch.
It's
The
unbelievable.
pitch goes out underneath the stadium and the new pitch comes in into the car park. It's amazing. So yes, they're in debt of that much, but
they've got their own brewery inside of the thing.
The amount of money that can be made off it, it's an investment.
Exactly.
For the future, because that stadium's going to be there for a long, long time, and it's going to still look modern in 10 years' time.
100%. Now, let's move on to the revamp. What we think that Manchester United should be doing.
Yeah.
So, start off with the stadium. We were just talking about the stadium there. They need to renovate renovate the stadium.
Yeah.
And just like Tottenham Hotspur, they should move to another stadium. And I personally think they should either one, knock down Old Trafford, and rebuild it, or do major, and I mean major
work,
structural changes, as in terms of the building structural changes in there.
This is all realistic talk.
This is realistic talk. So obviously they need a ground to play at, and they can't play too far away from where their home ground is. So we've done some research on what is the biggest capacity within around about hour drive from Old Trafford, and it's the University of Bolton Stadium, which has a capacity of 28,723.
Yeah.
It's 28 minutes away from Old Trafford, and is the biggest stadium within an hour radius, like I've just said. That isn't the Etihad Stadium or the Etihad's Academy and Women's Stadium,
which is 7,000 capacity.
Yeah.
On a training ground facility.
Or they could go to Turf Moor, but because Turf Moor is
used by Burnley week in, week out,
and with Burnley being a kind of recent Premier League team, you probably wouldn't want to play there.
No.
And actually the University of Bolton Stadium has a bigger capacity, so they still are creating revenue from ticket sales, whilst they are renovating their stadium, but it's not the same as Spurs were making, because Spurs used Wembley.
But at the end of the day, you have to then rent out that stadium, so the rental costs on having Wembley for 2 seasons will be a lot more expensive than it would be having
the University of
Bolton Stadium
exactly
for a season or two.
So also the training grounds, we spoke a bit about them. There's 2 options you can really do for the training grounds. You can either renovate what they have at Carrington, they can still be using it, use other sites whilst they're renovating certain parts of the training ground, or they can go ahead and do what Liverpool's done and Leicester have done, just go to a different location and build something spectacular there, and then maybe give that sort of great training ground, and or change to like a community centre or something like that, where something like City've done, the creating that complex that other people can use. They could use Carrington. Obviously it's a massive facility still, and it's, in terms of if you turn that into a community centre, it's a great facility for community centre.
Definitely.
So maybe turn it into like a football centre, or I don't know, just create something that can benefit the local area the same way Man City done it.
Well, all majority of teams have foundations. Yeah. So you can make it. It would be an actually spectacular Manchester United foundation arena.
Give it to the women's team.
Or women's team, but so those are realistic options. What they can do. Our advice, or what we think they should do, is
build another place.
Is compete alongside Manchester City and create that complex.
Yeah, they've got to create that complex.
If they can do that, create the stadium, training ground all around it, this whole area, this whole facility all together, and really compete, because at the end of the day, that money will return on the investment that 100%. You're going to make. If you do things in the right way, you will get the return on it in investment, and that's what they need to think about. But at the moment, they've got no plans whatsoever to develop it, and I think going on the next point of the Glazer family, I think that's one of the key reasons why Man United fans have got so much hatred and on a protest about the Glazers, especially in a minute, but it's been going on for the past few years of what they're not doing at the club.
100%.
I mean, they seem a very protest and distant ownership, the Glazers, so they're always silent over refinancing and all this sort of stuff, and I think that's main reasons why Man U fans are upset with them. I've heard a lot from, obviously, if anybody watches Sky Sports, Gary Neville has a lot to say about them. I mean, he always talks about the dividends in the club and the amount that they take out to service the hundreds of £1 million that because they bought the club on debt, they bought the club on a very highly leveraged buyout. So they're always taking dividends and money out of the club to refinance themselves. And obviously that's a massive point that Man U fans don't like, is the amount of money that they draw out of the club as well. And obviously they just need massive infrastructure and improvements around that we've talked about, and since probably 2015 mark, they've kind of forgetting about the youth setup, and like how many Man United Academy graduates are coming out at the minute?
There's so many.
Like
they have used like an unreal amount of youth players over the years.
Yeah.
The amount of players that have started in Premier League games or made an appearance in Premier League games is probably the highest in the Premier League.
It's crazy. Like the development of them have kind of lost finance, but they're pushing through more and more academy graduates without the support that they need to go into the first team.
Yeah, 100%.
They don't have the level of facilities, they don't have the level of coaching. It's just like, we kind of need players to fill in this squad in this position against a big game against PSG in the Champions League. We'll take you, and you. In you go.
They didn't play too badly.
It's the same as that. But that's the thing, those players are playing off sheer passion and desire for the shirt. They're wearing the heart on the sleeve.
A good segue, now you're talking about players. And it's really the meat of the video.
Yeah.
What everyone really wants to hear is incomings.
Yeah.
Who we think they should sign.
And it's not just stupid players, like they should
Messi,
sign him.
Ronaldo,
they should sign him back there.
Yeah.
It's realistic signings and signings that are good value for money as well. Exactly. So it's not like Man U should go sign Trent Alexander-Arnold for 100 million.
Exactly.
Like, not
so
realistic.
We've picked out a few positions. We're talking about like the more near future, like the close future.
Yeah, so obviously you'll have transfers that need to come in the next 3 years and things like that, but realistically
we're talking about now
January, and
so
maybe pushing into next summer.
We've picked out 4 positions. We've picked out striker, centre midfielder, goalkeeper, and a right back.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with right back.
It's looking, they do need another winger, but it's looking likely it's going to be Anthony from Ajax for 85
so
million.
So that's why
quid.
we really didn't include like a right winger.
Yeah, because it looks like they're going to get one.
So let's start off with right back.
Yeah.
So we've got four players we've picked who we think that are one experienced in the Premier League or just experienced in general, and it's a good fit for Manchester United and isn't extortionate in terms of pricing.
It's a good fit. So all these players are a good fit for Manchester United, but realistical thinking of Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you brought in a big manager, let's say, and they've got to give this manager the time to build the squad that he has.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, with us at Liverpool, we give Klopp, he had a rebuild 3 years before we started competing.
Exactly.
And we started to compete. Arteta has had 2 seasons going into his third, and at this moment they're looking likely that they're going to start to compete.
They look like a great outfit.
Instead of everyone getting on, the manager's backs and things like that, give him time to get the players that he wants, and these are players that would probably fit his style of football.
So first right back on our list we thought was Kyle Walker-Peters. He's a 25-year-old, plays for Southampton, and based off the transfer market, his transfer value is 19.8 million. These aren't what we're saying. This isn't how much he cost. This is just
this is just valuations.
James Justin from Leicester, 22.5 million, and he's a 24-year-old. Again, he had quite a big injury, so he could also be injury prone, but again, the player himself is a very strong right back.
Yeah, he's quick, he defends well, he's big, he's strong, he's got a presence, and he's got experience in the Premier League. So
next one is Tariq Lamptey. Personally, I think he's an unbelievable right back. He plays more right wing back, so maybe this is the one that it could work, could not work.
Yeah.
He's used to playing at a 5 at the back.
Yeah, so
it could be a bit of the same situation. Well, not the same situation as Wan-Bissaka, because
Wan-Bissaka just played defensively, didn't he? He not used to having the ball at his feet and attacking and things like that. So
and our final choice is Yusuf Atal from Nice. Transfer evaluation of 13.5 million, and he's a 26-year-old.
So he's, I think, a very good and realistic option, because everyone knows if a player's going to move Premier League to Premier League club,
it's going to be more expensive.
The prices are amped up like
and
crazy.
also these 3 players that we've also listed before Atal are all English players,
And
so the tax on that.
yeah, English and Premier League players.
So you've also
Even
seen
more.
you've seen Anthony Gordon's English tax of around about £55 million.
Yeah,
He's I'm not even gonna lie, he's a £5 million player.
I mean Atal, he's Algerian and plays for Nice, so that would be a massive step up for him. But he is a very quality
You've got to remember,
right back.
he's also playing in the African Cup of Nations. So
Yeah,
it might not be the right decision, because if you wanted a defence, you need a defence that's always going to be there.
playing together.
Yeah, that
but
gels.
But then it goes to the point of obviously squad rotation. That's
You've
why
got Dalot
that's
as
why
well,
you
who
have
is realistically quite a good right back. He played well
like
against
him.
Liverpool.
I like Dalot. Wan-Bissaka isn't really an option.
Yeah, I would
at
sell.
the minute.
We actually didn't do players we should sell. We should just rattle.
There's a few players that could be sold, but it's the realistic nature of they signed them a few seasons ago, and they're going to be repeating old things of signing a player, the player poor, sell them a season or two later.
Yeah,
Big money signing, sell them. Big money signing, sell them.
So next position, we've got goalkeeper.
Yeah,
They already have a good goalkeeper in terms of in their ranks or under their contracted still, is Dean Henderson. Recall him from loan.
Plays for Forest. I think if he gets a good season under his belt this season at Forest, obviously there's going to be people watching him from Man U.
Yeah.
If he does that this season and play as well, he may well be Man U's #1 goalkeeper next season. Only because he's a good, solid goalkeeper in terms of shot stopping, but his abilities with his feet, which is what Eric Ten Hag wants, outweighs David De Gea's.
So the next goalkeeper we thought would be good was Mike Margan. Probably pronouncing that wrong, but he's from AC Milan. £31.5 million transfer valuation and 27 years old.
Won the league with AC Milan last season. Obviously, AC Milan lost Donnarumma,
which is a massive
this season before. The season before the PSG,
yeah,
they signed him in. No one even batted an eyelid the fact that Donnarumma left.
Yeah,
he was that good. He's a big presence, very commanding, good on the ball, unbelievable shot stopper, insane option for them.
Next goalkeeper we're eyeing up is Unai Simon from Bilbao.
Simon,
the
Spanish.
Simon. Just Simon.
Yeah.
Simon. Bilbao. He is estimated to be worth around 22.5 million, and he's 25 years old.
Yeah.
Could it be another Kepra Astribilaga sort of signing, or do you think he could establish himself?
I think he's got a bigger frame and bigger presence, which is a massive thing for a goalkeeper, whereas Kepa's kind of just a reaction shot stopper.
Do you also think it could be a good signing? Keep De Gea still in the ranks, bring in another Spanish goalkeeper. They gel well together. They allow him to push through to the first team. De Gea go gets another move to a different team. You know,
I mean, with that move there, as Simon came in, it could easily be a swap deal.
It could be.
De Gea drops, goes back to Spain, and they get a new young goalkeeper in. Well, youngish goalkeeper, I should say.
Another goalkeeper that's looking good in the Premier League is Roberto Sanchez from Brighton.
Yeah.
Estimated around about £14.4 million. 24-year-old.
Spanish again.
Spanish, yes. Again, yeah. Spanish. So
he's a good goalkeeper. He's really come into his own since getting that #1 shirt at Brighton.
100%.
Especially last season.
Yeah.
He's looking solid.
Yep. Now, probably the second most pivotal sort of position that we think they need. They've brought in Casemiro, but we both think they could do with another centre midfielder. But at the same time, what they have in centre midfield in terms of Fred and Casemiro, could that work the same way as works for the mighty Brazil?
Because we discuss it in our Premier League prediction podcast, was the fact that Casemiro and Fred do play together at Brazil.
And over 20 games, they've got a record of 18 wins.
19 games, 17 wins.
No, it's
something like that.
20 games, 18 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Which, I'm not being funny, but there's clearly something working there.
So yeah, it could work, but then you've got to go to the fact if they want to start competing with the best of the best, they need to get that quality and depth in competition in players.
Our ideas, obviously, the one that's been heavily linked with Manchester United already is Frankie de Jong, £54 million.
As of this morning, he's coming to Liverpool.
Yeah, 25-year-old from Barcelona. If you don't already know, I mean everyone probably already knows anyway.
Frankie de Jong, one hell of a player.
Yeah. Next one.
Yeah.
Is a little bit of a similar play in terms of what he does on the pitch to Casemiro, but he could also he's a lot more diverse as well. He could play more of a box to box as well.
Yeah.
Which he did for England a bit as well when he's played next to Rice, someone that is more defensive.
Yeah.
It allows Declan Rice to push on.
Yeah.
And uses creativity quite well. Declan Rice from West Ham. Transfer valuation of 72 million, but again, English tax. That signing you're looking at easily.
David Moyes has already said 150 million last summer, which is crazy. But personally, I can see Declan Rice ending up at Chelsea.
Yeah.
But I think he's a very good option for them because if they play with a kind of like a double six, one of them always pushing on, it gives the more creative spark to the forward players to license to play how they want to play.
A triangle, if they play it in the 4-2-3-1 that they like to play with,
Ten Hag likes to play,
of Casemiro, Declan Rice, and Bruno Fernandes. That's it. Could work
because it'll stop Fernandes having to constantly drop into midfield.
Yeah.
To try and do things.
Declan Rice isn't scared of a tackle. He's very vocal. He is a leader.
He is the captain of West Ham.
Exactly. So
22.
Him and Casemiro next to each other. Bruno Fernandes obviously will have to defend still because when they're on the defence, they'll have a formation defence. But he doesn't have to sit in between them two. He doesn't have to constantly drop back to get the ball and be so deep on the ball and distribute out. And he can be in a place that's just floating around those CDMs in between the lines and get that ball and pass that and get it onto a through ball onto the striker that we'll talk about in a minute.
Next player on the list
is another English superstar.
Yeah, Jude Bellingham,
who plays for Dortmund, has an estimated transfer value of around about £72 million, and he is very young still, 19 years old, with bags of experience.
Yeah,
as for a 19-year-old, he has got a lot of experience.
Yeah. And he's already said that he'll be staying at Dortmund this season, but next summer will be when
he's looking for his big move.
He will be looking for his big move, and it will be to a Premier League club.
Exactly.
And it will be to City, Liverpool, or Man U.
Yeah. He came out that he said, well, he's interested in Chelsea, but he's also unsure on like the stability of the club at the moment.
So I think that'd be a big move for them if they wanted to get that as a staple signing, considering the amount of teams that will be wanting him.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jude Bellingham is
great sign. That'll be a great sign.
Will be top.
Nico Barella from Inter Milan.
Nico Barella, player that I would absolutely love to have at Liverpool. I'm not gonna lie.
£63 million transfer valuation. 25-year-old
from Inter. I think with him he's got a very whole package to him. He can defend well. Ability on the ball to dribble through tight areas.
Very, very good.
His distribution of the ball in terms of range of passing.
For a centre midfielder.
Yeah, he's quick. He's strong. He's small, but he's strong.
It's like another Marco Verratti.
Yeah, like a Marco Verratti, and I think he would be a very, very good fit alongside Casemiro.
Another sort of another Italian.
Yeah.
Of Sandro Tonali for AC Milan. Transfer evaluation of £45 million. 22-year-old, quality player on the ball.
Yeah.
He's dubbed to be either Andrea Pirlo.
Yeah, he can play as a 6 or as an 8. Either way,
player.
He's so passionate.
Yeah.
In his play.
Good defender.
Unbelievable defensively.
Awareness is great. His vision's great. His passing ability is outstanding.
Yeah, he'd be a top-notch signing, and I mean, we're seeing all these. I mean, I'd like any of these lot at Liverpool. I'm not gonna lie, because we're in desperate need of midfielders.
I mean,
so this is very close to my heart right now.
Newcastle will probably just buy every single player on this list.
Okay, move on from Newcastle. We don't need to talk about them. Right, next position, last one, striker.
The one that everyone wants to know. Everyone always wants the striker. Let's start off with Jonathan David from Lille.
Yeah.
Transfer valuation of 40.5 million, 22-year-old Canadian.
Yeah.
Canadian? He is Canadian.
He is Canadian, yeah.
We were talking about this before in terms of what striker Ten Hag would want. Are we getting just a Glazers signing the best striker that they could possibly go out and buy, or are we going more down the road?
Realistic option of what Ten Hag likes in a striker.
And that's what we went for in all these signings.
High pressing, pacey, good finishing, but works in a team and can drift out wide in the different positions and things like that.
Yeah, and he is those things. He's rapid.
Yeah.
He's clinical.
Yeah.
He's proven at Lille, but again, that's at Lille.
Deserves a big move.
I think he deserves a big move.
Deserves a big move.
Our next striker, he's got Premier League experience. He plays at Roma. He's an Englishman. And Tammy Abraham.
Yeah.
£45 million transfer valuation, 24-year-old.
Chelsea should never have let him go.
No, never in a million years.
How old did you say he was? 22?
24-year-old.
24. Yeah,
still
Chelsea,
young, got
Chelsea
so much experience.
Yeah.
He's so clinical. His awareness to get in between defenders, getting into through balls.
He's so tenacious though. That
yeah.
He presses. He wants to win the ball back. Like at Roma last season, he was just so passionate and yeah.
So the final player that we think Manchester United should sign, or on the list, is the biggest one I think personally, is Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. £67.5 million transfer fee. 25 years old. He's not old. He's got 7 years left ahead of him. 7 good years. Clinical, fast, aggressive,
strong.
Again, he's another Argentine as well.
Yeah.
So it would go well with Lisandro Martinez, another Martinez, at the club. But I just think he's just so set up
such a good
for
option
for a system that Ten Hag wants to play in.
Yeah.
He would fit in great with a front three of him, Rashford, Anthony, or him, Martial, Anthony,
Sancho.
Or
Sancho,
the flexibility that they would have in terms of a front three would be incredible.
That's the thing. Ten Hag doesn't particularly play with straight number 9. Yeah. So that's why we've selected these players that can drift wide, runs in behind, can come to feet and things like that.
Yeah.
The thing with Martinez is he's only ever interplayed as part of a 2 up front.
Yeah.
He's had last season he had Dzeko, the season before he had Lukaku with him.
Yeah.
So they were always the big target men, and he was always one who's they play off. He drops deep to get the ball and create. He runs in behind, things like that, which would fit what Man United want to do anyway.
But I was going to say, so we're talking before about if we get that central midfielder in as Declan Rice, and that allows Fernandes to push it, to play in between the lines to get the ball, receive the ball from Declan Rice, and Martinez could then run onto that ball from the through ball. It's a system that would work personally. I think would be great. So, obviously, it would be the transfer evaluations that we've put in there. The fees will be way more than what we
at the end of the day, it is offered
Manchester United.
It is offered trusted thing, transfer market.
I'm not saying that
everyone always uses transfer market for them at the end of the day, but
it's Manchester United.
It's Man United.
Everyone wants money because they know they've got the money.
Yeah, will be the same for yous in Newcastle. Everyone will amp up prices, as you've just seen with your signing Isaac.
Quality player, but let's not go into that.
But I'd say Man U do have Ronaldo and Martial as striker options, but everyone knows the Ronaldo situation over the course of the summer. We don't particularly need to get into that. So they just need, I'd say, the 4 or 5 signings away from challenging. Obviously, with this Anthony deal coming in, quality signing, but still need to focus on the 4 positions that we've looked at.
A lot of players in their squad. I'm looking at their current squad here. So the 2 goalkeepers they've got registered is David De Gea and Tom Heaton.
Yeah.
Realistically, if De Gea gets injured, Tom Heaton isn't really
That's
the best.
Struggle.
So the defenders that they've got registered: Victor Lindelof, Phil Jones, Harry Maguire, Martinez, Tyrell Malacia, Rafael Varane, Delors, Luke Shaw, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Brandon Williams, Axel Tuanzebe, and Teden Menji. Tuanzebe, when he played against PSG, he played unbelievable, and he had.
But that's what I talk about. Is the youth players, when they get the chance, they play well, but they've
got to trim that down. Though. They've got to trim that down.
They've got to trim it down, but they've also got to think about the quality that they need to bring in alongside it.
I'm going to say this right now. Get rid of Phil Jones. Get rid of Wan-Bissaka. Get rid of Luke Shaw. Get rid of Brandon Williams. Get rid of Tuanzebe. There's 5 players, some money coming into the club that can pay for some of the transfers.
Why is that even that? It's getting players off wage bills.
Exactly. So they've got midfielders registered of Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, Christian Eriksen, Fred, Facundo Pellistri. Couldn't tell you who he is. Young
player, talented Man U fans
Donny
like
van
him.
de Beek, James Garner, Scott McTominay, Tyeth Trong. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that name because I'm probably going to slow it. And Garancho. So they just need, I think, get rid of. Just take these youth players out the team. Like realistically, like if they want to be pushing on European football, got to get some quality in there and stop relying.
It's quality and depth. They need to have competition for starting spots at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if you get that quality in, the likes of Fred may start playing well.
Yeah.
The likes of McTominay may start to kick on.
Yeah.
Donny van de Beek might actually get a chance. Like I say, getting quality players in and around other players improves the entire aura at the team.
So forwards: Cristiano Ronaldo, Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, Amad Diallo, Jadon Sancho, Anthony Langa, and Shola Shortaya.
Another youth player. A few of them are youth players that
I think they should loan out.
As the first team. I mean,
I think they should loan out Amad Diallo. Get rid of Ronaldo.
I think he's already been sent out on loan, potentially. I'm not sure. But I mean, they signed Diallo in 2020 for 19 million.
I think he's got quality. I think he is I think he does have potential there, but
I'm not sure about him. I'm not gonna lie.
You need to get rid of Ronaldo. Let's just be honest. He's old. He's just causing problems at Manchester United in the dressing room. Whether or not all those rumours to be true, it's just constant bad news and bad repertoire in the media. And his wage bill is absolutely massive. If you could get rid of Ronaldo's wage bill, why have him at your team?
Well, at the end of the day, if they want to start this project and move forward as a club, as a team under Ten Hag, they need to get rid of players like that at the club where it's just egotistic. Everyone best do what I say. I'm not going to work under you. I'm not going to do this, that, and the other.
They need to stop respecting the manager the same way as they all respected Ten Hag. I know Ten Hag isn't the same figure.
Ferguson, you mean?
Sorry. Ten Hag isn't the same figure as Ferguson. They've got to start respecting Ten Hag.
Yeah.
And he is their leader at the end of the day. What he says goes.
Yeah.
So they've got to listen. They can't listen
That's
to
how you ran
Ronaldo.
at Ajax.
You can't listen to Ronaldo. He's the player. You've got to listen to, at the end of the day, your boss, who is Ten Hag.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I think
that's been our Club Revamp of Manchester United, the first episode of Club Revamp.
Yeah. Let us know if you like the idea of Club Revamp, because we do have a list of teams that we would like to go over.
Yeah.
Let us know as well teams that you would want to
see revamped.
Us to talk about in Club Revamp in future episodes as well.
Exactly. So the link to all of our socials will be in the description: TikTok and Instagram.
We do have previous videos being Premier League predictions, where we've gone over our 20-1 who we think will finish where in the season, and we've got Champions League group stage video out as well, so go check those out.
And other than that, thank you very much for watching.